Hey everyone, me Kevin here. Articles of impeachment have literally just been filed against Joe Biden. In this video, I'm going to explain what the heck that means. Is it going to go anywhere? What process does it have to go through? Why would articles of impeachment be filed against a Biden? And this video is not designed to do anything in terms of imposing opinion. It's just to try to provide you some facts and stay in the middle as much as possible, which is very difficult in this political day and age, and therefore I have brought myself the Don't Sue Me Bro mug. Don't sue me, bro. I'm just bringing the news. And if you're still concerned, you can get life insurance in as little as 5 minutes via the link down below. It's right next to the link to get 4 free stocks with Webull worth between $21 and $1,600, or get a totally free $30 when you deposit $100 with M1 Finance. All right, with that said, let's talk about the news. Marjorie Taylor Greene has just filed for impeachment against Joe Biden. Marjorie is a QAnon supporter, self-proclaimed, who announced her new filing in a tweet. Let's listen into the tweet so you can hear exactly what she said. Here's her tweet. It is very short. It is 5 seconds long. Here we go.
Just filed articles of impeachment on President Joe Biden. We'll see how this goes. Just filed articles of impeachment on President Joe Biden. We'll see how this goes.
So I just played it twice because that's literally all she said. By the way, Marjorie was banned from using Twitter for 12 hours this weekend. She's run into trouble with Facebook for posting that the Stoneman Douglas High School attack in Parkland, Florida was a false flag. Just an interesting side note, I suppose. I used to debate against people from Stoneman Douglas High School when I went to both Western High School and St. Thomas High School in South Florida. So that attack actually hit home, but I'm not going to put any sort of opinion out there on whether they're false flags or not. Let's just move on to the articles of impeachment. Marjorie Taylor has filed her articles of impeachment against Biden for claiming that Biden corruptly forced the resignation of a top prosecutor in Ukraine around the same time that his son Hunter Biden was being investigated, and potentially there were ties to Burisma that were being investigated as well. And the easiest way to add some color to basically what spawned this sort of a corruption claim is to just watch the clip that kinda has gotten Biden into some hot water. Here it is. This is Biden. Just listen to it. It's a little self-explanatory. Here we go.
I remember going over convincing our team, or others, to convincing us that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over for, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I'm not going to, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid.
That gives you a little bit of color into what happened here. Now, obviously, depending on the way you look at this, that doesn't look too good. So Republicans on the right call this clear corruption, and I don't want to say all Republicans, but some people on the right call this clear corruption because they say this all relates to Biden trying to bail out his son to end the investigation into Burisma, because the guy that Biden wanted out was a top prosecutor in the Ukraine. And so if you get rid of the top prosecutor, then maybe that could potentially be deemed as ending the investigation into Hunter Biden and then putting somebody into power that was, quote, good, right? Anyway, Democrats, or some Democrats, I don't want to say all Democrats, right? I don't know how y'all think. But anyway, some Democrats say that's not true. Viktor Shokin, he's the prosecutor dude, he was ousted because he wasn't pursuing corruption charges against Ukrainian politicians. Democrats say Shokin was never investigating Hunter Biden or Burisma in the first place, and that this had nothing to do with Hunter Biden. And just to add to this whole story, and then we'll keep talking about what this impeachment resolution means, it doesn't help that it doesn't help Biden, that other European institutions and the IMF said that without Biden, Shokin wouldn't have been fired. So basically, they're saying, yeah, Biden's the reason he got fired. And at the same time, there are allegations that Biden did this under the guise of investigating Ukrainian corruption, but at the same time trying to potentially cover up his own corruption or his own son's corruption. Anyway, the story then gets a whole lot crazier. Basically, and this is so oversimplified, right? Because I don't want to go deep into this. But basically, then there's a story about Hunter Biden's laptop, which apparently was dropped off to a blind computer repair tech, then forgotten, who then gave that laptop to somebody else, who then hacked into the hard drive, to reveal damaging emails about corruption in Ukraine by Hunter Biden, who then gave that damaging information to Rudy Giuliani, who then exposed it prior to the election to help Donald Trump get reelected. And now the computer repair shop owner filed a $500 million lawsuit against Twitter, claiming that Twitter buried the entire Hunter Biden laptop story via the New York Post, and as a result defamed him and his business by not sharing proper coverage of the story. Oh my gosh, folks. I wish this right here were full of vodka. Maybe it is. Well, we'll just see what happens. But now, let's talk about the articles of impeachment. So here's the thing. First, when somebody in Congress introduces the articles of impeachment, it basically looks like a bill similar to what we saw with Donald Trump. It's a resolution to impeach a sitting president, or I suppose potentially a not sitting president. All these precedents are so messed up now. But anyway, it's a resolution to impeach a president for high crimes and misdemeanors, and then alleges a specific act of corruption or violation, like inciting violence, which is obviously the allegation against former President Trump. But anyway, once a resolution is introduced, here's what happens. So a resolution gets introduced, then that resolution goes before what's known as the House Judiciary Committee. The House Judiciary Committee is responsible for debating and reviewing the resolution and maybe even making changes to it through a markup process. Then the Judiciary Committee can vote on passing the resolution to impeach the president. If the Judiciary Committee passes the resolution, they basically forward the resolution to the House floor. The House floor is when then the entire House of Representatives votes on impeachment. If the House votes to impeach Biden, then the impeachment would move to the Senate for a trial. Biden could then either be acquitted or found guilty and removed from office in the Senate. However, let's not go so far so fast, because the roadblocks here are, well, quite a few. Working backwards, Democrats control the Senate via Chuck Schumer as the majority leader. There's a 50-50 tie. Kamala Harris would break a tie. You need 67 votes to actually convict somebody in an impeachment trial. So working backwards, the odds of actually getting 67 votes, which would require 50 Republicans and 17 Democrats to join in, the odds of actually getting a conviction against Biden done in the Senate, pretty next to zero. This is a dead end because Democrats have a lot of control there. Again, working backwards, then we go to the House, and again, this is in reverse order. The House is also controlled by Nancy Pelosi and Democrats. So that's not going to happen. We're not going to get the votes in the House. And when I say we, I mean collectively, we as a people. I'm not taking a side. So that's not going to happen. And then if we go another step back to the House Judiciary Committee, we realize that the House Judiciary Committee is chaired by a Democrat. There are 23 Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee, and there are 17 Republicans. So Republicans are even outnumbered on the House Judiciary Committee, which kind of, if you go through that process, and now it makes sense why Democrats were able to slam dunk all of these phases to impeach Trump, because Democrats have the power where they need it to make all these impeachment steps happen. Republicans have power at none of these levels. So Republicans are hugely outnumbered on this. Basically, this isn't going to go anywhere. Now, it'll come up in the Judiciary Committee, but I doubt the Judiciary Committee will even hold a vote because Democrats are in power. They have 3 ways to block this. Again, Judiciary Committee, House, and Senate. It's most likely right now just more of a conversation starter amongst Republicans. Some Democrats argue this is just a distraction to create a distraction for basically not convicting Donald Trump. Republicans say this is exactly the kind of conversation we need to be having anyway, so let's get this thing to a vote so we can see how people vote and see that where the proper support lies or lay. Whether or not that's actually going to happen is doubtful, but there you go. That is everything you need to know, at least right now, because things change every day. Remember, woo-hoo-hoo.